everybody, Marcus C. Williams here. And it's February 2021. And you know what that means? It's Black History Month. That's right. In the United States of America, in February, we celebrate Black History Month to acknowledge and pay homage to all the great achievements, accomplishments, and additions from Black people to the greater society of not just America, but that of the world. So, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the world lately, but there has been some great sentiment of how Black people should be more justly served in the world and looked upon nowadays, lately. Now, that sounds great. We have Black History Month, and that should be something that should be a focus, one would think, right? What can be done to help focus on the needs of the Black community? You would think that your politicians, both on the local level and on the federal level, especially in Congress, would focus on the needs of Black people in our nation of America. However, that's not what's going on at all. They haven't passed one bill. They haven't pushed for one initiative to help Black people who are going through a struggle because of the ridiculousness that New York and California have put on our economy because of their preferred coronavirus precautions, let's call them generously, and everything else that's going on for Blacks in America, all the struggles and disadvantages that our people have had to go through the years, and the fact that a large part of our population is in the lower socioeconomic tier, or that in a lot of Black areas, predominantly Black areas, there is extremely poor education even though schools are integrated. That's another conversation for a whole nother video, integration. But even though the schools are terrible, we have a large socioeconomic gap, and we have a serious issue with the way that we are portrayed in the media and in the music industry. We have value, but it's not shown. Black lawyers, you don't hardly see those on the TV. Black doctors, no, can't see that on the television hardly ever. Can you see a Black astronaut? We've got some, but you don't see those either. Now, being Black in America, okay, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Let's be honest and let's be real. However, if everything right now that's going on in our nation is supposed to be about equality and equity and all of these fancy words that are thrown around that really mean nothing and make no sense and drive us more towards socialism, like anti-racism and all types of other nonsense, where's the equality? Where are the programs that are supposed to facilitate this, since it's so important to Congress? Everybody in Congress is talking about it. Everybody in Congress is pandering to the Black people. Well, I mean, that is to say, predominantly Democrats. But where is the legislation from the Democrats? Where is the legislation for the Black population during Black History Month? Goose egg. This big. Goose egg. The first thing they do when they get into office is they change the gender nomenclature and the gender naming system scheme. You can't say his or her. You gotta say, use all types of different pronouns. Can't be wife, can't be a husband. Gotta use all types of different pronouns. I'm sorry, but that's your priority when you're supposed to be, I don't know, focusing on everything in our nation that needs to be taken care of? Or maybe even considering the thought of looking into the needs of the Black population? I mean, Black History Month, right? Maybe I'm just thinking too logically here. But changing gender pronouns and stuff like that doesn't help Black people. It doesn't help anybody. And it definitely doesn't help our nation move forward. And it's definitely not unifying. But now we've got a real good one. Just the other day, they said that your children, that's right, your children should be able to be funded by the government to choose what sex they want before they hit puberty, and be given blockers and all types of drugs to fill their body with to change their hormones and the way that their body works, that we're blessed with them from birth. Now, I don't know your feelings on the matter, but I figure that you've been given a body by the Lord and by your parents. That is what you came into this world to be. And I support you pretty much doing whatever with your body. I mean, it's your body, as long as you're not hurting other people. I mean, why would I bother to stop you? I don't care. If you want to take your arm, cut it off, put it on the top of your head and wave it around like this, that's on you. There's more power to you. Okay? However, pushing this on children is wrong. It's not right at all. What's more than that is there is an extremely large decline in the black population. Not only is there an extremely large decline in the black population, the birth rate for blacks is negative in this nation. So, the birth rate for blacks is negative. Blacks have a higher rate of abortion than almost all other races in the country. We also have a lower birth rate, and we have a larger death rate of our maternal mothers in maternity wards, which is an amazing thing. And if your child is black and they're handled by a white nurse or a white doctor, they are 5 to 10 times more likely to die. Did you know that? Now that's an interesting fun fact right there. So, with all of this going on right now, their whole thing is, let's make it so that the kids can't have kids. I need to think about that. So, what you're really doing is pushing for population control during Black History Month to, I guess you consider it, enrich and show value to transgender people, maybe? I'm not transgender. I don't know how the transgender community feels about that. That's another question that I have for them. But I don't understand that. Like, children. That's really what you want to do, is make it so that children are not able to procreate when they come of age to hit puberty, or that they're so torn that they don't know who or what they are. It's not bad enough that children have associative and dissociative disorders already, and that they have issues with identifying or not identifying with themselves, groups, or people as a whole. You want to make it so they choose when they're so little that they barely know what they want to be when they grow up, what gender or sex they are. I mean, that just sounds madness to me. Now, let's go back to the core thing here. It's Black History Month. So how does that help black people? So now we got two things going that they're putting in through Congress, and the Democrats are putting in, that don't help black people. Okay? That's more about LGBT alphabet groups than it is about our people. Then we also have, they want the Gender Equality Act, which is a whole load of crap and nonsense inside there. You should read it. Just read it. I don't care what side you're on, this side, that side, in the middle. Read it. Oh my God. You will be amazed at how much subterfuge is in there. So, that being said, let's also take a look at that. So now they want females to compete with biological males. Because I don't know what happened to feminism, but it must be dead. Because where are the feminists to speak up about this? But again, males competing with females, and this is Black History Month. How is that helping or serving or even acknowledging anything for black people? It's not. But in my state of New York, Chuck Schumer is one of our representatives, well, senators, right? So almost half of the posts that I've seen from him this month, and this is that I've seen, not that he's posted, about black history and stuff like that, have been about black gay people. Now, this is a serious issue that we have in the black community, is them continually associating black with being gay. It is not the same thing. You can be black and straight, you can be black and bi, you can be black and lesbian, you can be black and gay. You can be black and whatever else you want to be, but at the end of the day, if you are black, you are black. And that's a fact. Like, you cannot change the color of your skin to be considered another race. I mean, shoot, look at Michael Jackson. He changed the color of his skin and he was still black. That didn't matter. Okay? But again, what does all of this gender swapping, gender switching, gender rights, and the fact that Mr. Potato Head cannot be called Mr. Potato Head anymore, even though Mr. Potato Head has a wife and her name is Mrs. Potato Head, who is also sold separately, not included. Okay? So my whole question is, where is the championing for black people and the amendments for black people and the reforms for black people in Congress? This is what always happens. The federal government, especially Democrats, most definitely Democrats, predominantly Democrats. I'm not shooting shots at them, this is just a fact. They say, oh, we're for black people, and then they will literally give everybody else, especially people in the alphabet community and illegals, more rights, more liberties, more freedoms, more free shit than we get. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And what's more that I don't understand is what's up with black people and why more of us don't speak up about it. I mean, really? For me, let me be clear about where I stand on this. Dude, I don't care who you're stooping at your house. Dude, if it's between you and another consenting adult, you guys do you. I don't care what freaky, kinky, fetishful stuff that you're into. You do you in the privacy of your own home. Okay? Don't care. However, when you bring it into children, or when you try to associate that automatically with black people, it's a problem and an issue for me because it takes away from the stuff that we as black people need. And remember, as I said, you could be black, but you can also be gay. But see, that's an and thing. It's not a both thing. It's not a both thing. It's an and. There's an and in between. You're not black gay. You're black and gay. You're not black and straight. You're black straight? No, that doesn't even make any sense, right? Because it's black and straight. So you've got to get rid of the and stuff when you're supposed to be focusing on the black stuff. And I know that sounds like me preaching, but it's a fact. Let's be honest. Everything that the Democrats are putting forth right now, none of it's for black people. They say that they want a champion for us. They say that the Republican Party is so terrible and so racist. However, the bills and stuff that they pass are not to help benefit our people. So isn't that a little bit ironic? I mean, that's a little bit like they pander to us when it's time for election, but then deliver us nothing. Even, and especially, in Black History Month. When October is LGBT Awareness Month. That's right, they have their own month. They have their own month. So why aren't those things happening in their month? And what's being done for black people in our month? That's my question. If everything that the Democrats say is supposed to be that they support black people so ardently and so much, where's the actual action? But they'll give us little piecemeal, teeny provisions and stuff like renaming an airport. Renaming an airport? Really? Oh my God, the advancement of colored people. We've got an airport named after us. There are lots of airports named after us. And again, who honestly cares what an airport is named? Not that many people. Because it's an airport. It's not doing anything. And then renaming an airport is not advancing anything for black people. It's not doing anything for black people. Like, I just, like, it's beyond me. And I really wonder how this is Black History Month and the Democrats are not doing anything. They control the Senate. They control the House. It's split in the Senate. They control the House. Well, technically, I guess you could say that they control the Senate because, you know, Kamala Harris is the president of the Senate. She's the deciding vote if it's split around straight lines. But they control the presidential administration. What are they doing for us? What is Biden and Harris doing for us? But remember, you're not black if you didn't vote for Biden. At least that's what he said out of his mouth. He also said black and Latino people don't know how to use the internet when that's all that we do. Bruv, what blacks and Latinos do you know that don't use the internet? 99% of us are in the phone stuck. Which is a whole separate conversation for another video. Okay? But again, this is the administration. This is the way that the Democrats treat our people. They are not recognizing anything for us. Okay? They are not recognizing anything for us, even though they pander to us all the time. They say that they're going to get things done. It's Black History Month, y'all. Like, we're almost at the end, because remember, the month is so short. It's almost the end of Black History Month, and there hasn't been one agenda item pushed forward for black people to benefit. More or less the rest of America, which is a whole separate conversation. Again, another video. But my question is this, right? If the things that they're doing in Congress right now are actually not benefiting black people, and in many ways harming black people, and it's being pushed by Democrats, are the Democrats really for black people? Do they really want to benefit black people? Or do we just hear from them when they want our vote, or when they want to talk about expanding social welfare, which I'd like to point out, there are more white people on welfare than there are blacks. Whole nother conversation for another video. But this is a serious issue, because right now we also see them, the Democrats, pushing socialism and communism. Now let me tell you something about socialist and communist countries. Let's just say that, let's play pretend as if it did work, which it doesn't, ever. But let's just play pretend. Let's take an example of all of the countries in which there's been socialism or communism. Let's just pull out a few. China, Russia, Venezuela, Cuba. Okay, let's take those for example. All the dark-skinned people in those nations are on the lowest of the low, on the bottom of the bottom. They get the least, even though everybody is supposed to be equal. Let me tell you right now that these people are not for you. They do not care about you. And no matter how much they say that they care about you, it's about the actions that they take through legislation. Let me say that one more time again. It is about the legislation that they pass in favor of the peoples, okay? Whether it be the peoples of America as a whole, or whether it be in support of African Americans, okay? Where is the legislation? This is my question. And I want you to take away from this video one thing, if not anything. If somebody says out of their mouth that they are for you, and that they want to deliver you something, and they show you nothing, they're probably not for you, especially if they've been in office for 30, 40, or 50 years. Especially when they say that they're going to do something during the great month that is supposed to recognize your heritage, and they deliver you nothing. If they ask you to achieve it, is it for them or is it for you? If they ask you to believe it, ask them whether it's true. That quote's from Saul Williams, a great poet. You guys have a great one. Be blessed and be well, and God bless America.